What if the most influential book in human history is also one of the most misunderstood? Quoted endlessly, argued over relentlessly, and rarely read as a whole, the Bible has shaped civilizations while remaining deeply contested even among those who claim to follow it. Written over roughly 1,000 years, from around 1200 BCE to the early 1st century CE, the Bible is not a single book but a library of texts composed by many authors across different cultures, languages, and historical moments. It includes law, poetry, prophecy, wisdom, literature, narrative history, and theological reflection. Emerging from the ancient Near East and later the Greco-Roman world, it reflects society's wrestling with power, suffering, morality, faith, and the nature of God. At its core, the Bible is a story about relationship. From the opening chapters of Genesis, it presents a world where creation is ordered, meaningful, and declared good, yet fragile. Humanity is depicted not as ignorant, but as conflicted, capable of both responsibility and rebellion. This tension drives the entire biblical narrative. The problem is not merely wrongdoing, but disordered desire and broken trust between humans, each other, and the divine. The Hebrew Bible, or Old Testament, follows a people attempting to live under a moral and covenantal framework in a chaotic world. Law is not presented simply as restriction, but a structure meant to preserve justice and community. The prophets later challenge empty ritual and political power, insisting that faith without ethical responsibility is hollow. Again and again, the text asks whether obedience is external performance or internal transformation. The New Testament reframes this tension through the life and teachings of Jesus of Nazareth. Rather than abolishing the earlier tradition, it radicalizes it inward. Moral failure is no longer limited to action, but intention. Power is redefined as service. Victory is achieved not through domination but sacrifice. The crucifixion stands as the Bible's most disturbing and central image. The idea that redemption emerges through suffering rather than avoidance of it. Psychologically, the Bible refuses to portray humanity as either purely evil or purely good. Its characters are deeply flawed, often contradictory, and rarely idealized. Kings fail, prophets doubt, disciples misunderstand. Faith in this framework is not certainty, but persistence in the face of ambiguity. Belief is portrayed as something lived under pressure, not held in abstraction. Philosophically, the Bible introduces a linear view of history. Time moves toward meaning rather than endlessly repeating. Human choices matter because they participate in a larger moral arc. This perspective has profoundly shaped Western ideas of progress, justice, responsibility, and human dignity. What makes the Bible endure is not uniformity but tension. Law and grace, justice and mercy, transcendence and intimacy coexist without being fully resolved. The text does not offer simple answers to suffering, but it refuses to treat suffering as meaningless. It does not eliminate doubt, but it insists that doubt is not the opposite of faith. If this exploration challenged how you think about belief, morality, or history, support the channel by liking the video and subscribing. And if you want to continue examining the books that shaped conscience and civilization, move on to the next video in this series.